Hey there, happy Monday. I hope that you are warm and staying dry here if you're on the East Coast. I'm Nathan Garcia, and I'm coming to you on a long overdue Facebook Live here. Forgive me while I get my camera set up. Anyways, listen, I wanted to do a quick video for you to help you out. We just saw today the stock market. Give me a second here. Hold on a second. Get that straightened out. It's been a while. I want to get this thing right for you. Anyways, today we saw the stock market. NASDAQ was down about 1.5%, 1.43% here. S&P 500 down about 0.5%, and then you had the Dow down about 35 basis points, about 1/3 of 1%. The reason this is happening is because we had an announcement from President Trump today that said that it looks likely that they're going to impose tariffs on another $200 billion of Chinese goods. And that announcement will take place likely this evening. So we don't have all the specifics yet, but oftentimes when there are big stories like this, you'll get little snippets before the market closes so that people understand what's coming down the pipe. Now, the reason this is significant is twofold. First off is that the amount of goods that the tariffs could be applied to would be $200 billion. Currently, there's about $60 billion of tariffs that are being applied. So this would be a pretty significant amount of goods that the tariffs would be applied to. It would be a 10% tariff. That's what I've seen thus far. It could be as high as 25%. We'll have to wait and see. But the difference between this round of tariffs and the previous rounds would be that the goods that are going to have the tariffs applied to them could be more manufacturing goods. So those are more consumer goods. So those are more goods that you and I purchase on a regular basis, things like furniture, electronics, what have you. And that's why we saw what took place today in the market actually happen. You see, the market dropped, the NASDAQ in particular dropped about 1.4% because there is speculation that companies like Apple, companies, the electronics manufacturers that have a lot of goods manufactured overseas, they're going to be the ones that are going to be hit the hardest from this. And so it'll be interesting to see how these companies react overnight, and then also how they react going forward. Now, mind you, we have a very long-term trend that's positive for the S&P 500. We also have a lot of tailwinds at the back of these companies when they have the benefits of the tax regulation that they're still going through, a lot of share buybacks that they're still working on. So that will help buoy the market itself. But what will be interesting is that this could be a turning point, an inflection point for the market as a whole. Now, the real reason that I brought this up for you is that days like today are opportunities for you to look at your portfolio and see how they perform during stressful situations. And the reason I bring this up is that when you look at different, so if you were just holding an index fund, and I keep looking over here because I'm looking at the market performance, you've got names like Amazon down 3.15%, Google down 1.5%, Microsoft down 1%, Apple down 2.67%. But you have bond funds like TLT that are up 0.03%. Now, normally you are going to hold a diversified portfolio because in days where the market drops 1.45% or 1.5%, you want your bond fund to do the inverse, right? You want it to perform the opposite, the mirror opposite if possible. And right now, because we have such low interest rates, because we've seen central banks intervene in markets as much as they have, you have bonds and stocks operating in the same direction. And so the move that we saw in the 30-year bond fund today, the TLT, it wasn't that significant. It was only positive 0.03%. It was barely positive. Why is that? It's because there's so much money out there that now the stocks and bonds are actually performing similarly. This is really significant if you are getting ready to retire or you're recently retired, because when you go to draw money out of your portfolio, you need the dependability that you're going to be able to withdraw the amount necessary to live your life. And if you have a lot of volatility, a lot of ups and downs in your portfolio, that's going to be a lot more difficult. So use days like today to go and look at your portfolio and say, is the allocation itself functioning the way that it should be? Meaning, are the stocks falling and causing the bonds to rise, or are your bonds operating like stocks? Are they performing like stocks? Chances are, if you don't have a globally diversified portfolio, you're not using some alternative strategies, your portfolio is probably highly correlated, meaning that you had a lot of things down today. But go and take a look at some different instruments and see how they perform. Find out what actually went positive today, because I can tell you there are a lot of things that actually performed positively today that made money when the market was down. And that's what you need to be focused on going into retirement. So if you have questions about this, let me know. Be happy to help you out. But let's keep an eye on what the announcement is out of the White House later this evening, and I'll be coming back live tomorrow with a quick update. So hope you found this helpful. Send me any questions or comments that you may have. Look forward to catching up with you tomorrow. Thanks.